Well, hello, I'm Etta, as everybody knows, and I'm here to do my little blob for this week. And what did everybody do on Valentine's Day? Did you do something interesting? Well, usually we don't do a thing interesting on Valentine's Day, but this year I had a mobster, murder, mystery, bridal show and dinner show to go to. Yeah, I did. And I had never been to one before in my life, and I did not know what to expect. And we had an early afternoon session, so we had to be there, they said, at 3 o'clock to get our tickets, or by 3:30 if someone else, because the place was sold out. And if we didn't get them by 3:30, that then they figure, well, if you weren't there, well. So we was there by 3 to pick up our tickets. And after we picked them up, they told us to go in to the place where they were having, and to get our place where they had all round tables, and there was beautiful white cloths, and each one of them was decorated up really nice with nice dishes and crystal glasses and stuff, and so we got there, and by golly, we got lucky. We got right next to the stage. I was surprised. She kept leading us around, and she says, "I think I've got a table for you too. There's 2 seats that has not been taken yet," and it was right next to the stage. And I said, "Well, this will be okay," but he says, "Our back's kind." He says, "I'll tell you what, lady, when you're here," he says, "turn your chair sideways. Just sit sideways, nobody will care. So you can see the show, then you'll be right here." So, anyway, she said, "Well, you can't come back in now until 4 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock you can enter and take your seats." So it was about 5 after 4 when we got back in there, and we came to the table, and we got seated in our chair. We went to the table then where we was assigned, and we sat down, and the waitress came by, and she says, "There's hors d'oeuvres already on the table there, and you can start helping yourself." I says, "Well, the others aren't here." She says, "Well, that doesn't make any difference. You just help yourselves and start, because there's hot coffee and the thing there, and I'll get you your ice water, and you're here, so start." So, anyway, a big hors d'oeuvre platter was sitting clear on the other side of the table, so instead of her getting it and bringing it around, she kind of left, so I walked around, and I picked it up, and I brought it around to behind my husband's side, and yeah, we started eating out, taking the things out and putting it in our little plate there, and started eating. I mean, why not? I was hungry. I knew it was going to be a dinner, so I told my husband, I says, I'm going to wait for the dinner and see. And it was a nice hors d'oeuvre platter. So by the time it didn't take long, and the place was full. Well, I tell you what, at 4:30 they locked the doors, or they had people around, and they said if you weren't in there by 4:30 and had your seat, that there'd be no doors opening to let you in. When the play started, that was it. And so, what all of us was out there in the room there, and it looked like nearly every table was full. But there was 2 chairs sitting beside me that nobody ever come to. And then, as I was sitting there at the table, I said to my husband, I said, "There's an envelope that's sitting over here on the table. It's got a clear viewer through the envelope, and there's money in it. And it says congratulations." I said, "You know, that must be part of the play, but why would they have it here on the table?" He says, "I don't know." So anyway, before 4:30 come, though, we was around, and there was these 2 guys walking around, and they looked like they could kill you. I mean, they did look the part. They looked like mobsters or hit men. but they had on tuxedos and, had things in their lapel and everything. And so anyway, I got talking to them, and they worked for the big Italian mobster boss, is who they was their worked for them. And so anyway, I started getting signatures, and shoot, I didn't bring it today, but I had about 7 out of the 12 signatures. But anyway, the play progressed on, and it was really fantastic. The big mobster boss himself was a great big huge man, and he looked the part. I mean, he looked like the Italian mafia guy. I mean, these people, they really picked the right people to play the parts that they did. And it was his daughter's wedding, and she was getting married. And then what the gist of this was, there was this harlot, no good gal that come along, and she was blackmailing everybody, all the men. Because come find out about it, all the men had been with her. And then after they're with her, she is going to get paid, and she took pictures when they did or whatever. And anyway, she was trying to blackmail the big boss, and his wife didn't ever know that she slept with her. But then my husband hit me on the arm and said, "Hey, look right," and guess who was sitting beside me? Was the boss's wife. And she's just sitting there, and her eyes is just a glaring, and she just go and point that, just her finger like that, and her eyes is just a glaring. She was playing her part. She was hiding out among the guests, watching this woman make out, or try to make out, or try to get to her husband. And then there was another mobster guy, and he had been paying for 10 years her blackmail money, $1,000 a month, so for over 10 years, and she seen him, and his wife happened to come along and heard a conversation, and she got into a big fight with him, says, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you." And it was a big mess. And then finally the groom was there on the stage, and here comes the big thing up, and she said, and he had envelopes. He had these envelopes, but I had already missed the envelope. But the groom came to the table and says, "How are you guys doing this evening?" Says, "I hope you're enjoying my wedding and everything." Says, "My bride will probably be the last one in here today." So she always likes to make a grand entrance, and was talking to us like that. But she says, "I'm ready to get this show on the road and everything." Well, I asked for his signature while he was there at the table. Well, a little bit after he left, I noticed the envelope was gone. And I told my husband, I said, "That envelope with that money is gone." And he says, "It is?" I said, "Yes." And I said, I don't know who took it. I didn't know. But then when he came on stage, finally, out of his pockets, he was dragging these envelopes with I said, looked at my husband, and I said, "See these envelopes?" And he was talking about going around. He was thanking everybody at the table where they had donated money for him and his bride to take a trip on. He went around and picking up the envelopes, and he had a bunch of them. And then this old gal came on there, and he started saying, "I'll take some of those." And he said, "No, you won't." And he says, "Oh, you just stop me." And she reached over, she grabbed some of them, and she says, "If you don't, I'll tell you you're good." Finona was the bride's wife about me and you. He said, "Well, that's in the past. And from now on, I'm not going to have nothing to do with you." Well, it ended up that she got killed. And I'm running out of time, and I can't go on with all my story. But the audience, the detective said he was from when he come in to investigate the murder when she was shot, the gal. Well, the detective came in, and he was from the FPD, Florence Police Department. And anyway, the audience and during the questioning, he turned around and he says, "Is there anybody else in this place that had a grudge against this woman to kill her? How many men are you out there?" Well, my husband and every one of them raised their hand. He says, "Oh my God, every man in this place. How many men did she ever have?" And the bride come running off of the stage and got in my husband's face and pointed her finger and did like this in my husband's face and says, "Don't you say that you wasn't with her, because I saw you with her last week." It kind of got to my husband. But anyway, we had a beautiful dinner. And I wished I could talk more, but my time is up. So I can't. So I've got to stop right here.